Walmart is preparing to slash hundreds more positions, both at its headquarters and among regional teams that oversee store operations. Around 1,500 jobs are on the chopping block, according to a memo seen by Reuters. The move is part of Walmart's broader effort to simplify its operations. New tonight, Walmart has officially confirmed that it is restructuring several corporate departments, which will result in about 200 positions being cut at its Bentonville offices and other corporate locations. Some reports initially suggested Walmart could trim as many as 1,000 roles across its corporate teams. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump recently told Walmart to, quote, eat the cost of rising tariffs so they can keep prices low for consumers. This ongoing clash between Trump and Walmart has shown a harsh light on tariffs, underlining a conflict that's forcing up prices and putting American jobs at risk. Trump took to Truth Social to hit back at Walmart over these price hikes, claiming the company is unfairly blaming tariffs rather than absorbing those extra expenses. Walmart didn't hold back. It announced that prices on staples, like electronics and food, would go up starting in June as tariffs became too expensive to manage. This face-off reveals a deepening political fight and an economic crisis hitting shoppers. The big question now is who will pay, giant corporations or everyday consumers? The tension between President Trump and Walmart started with a single Truth Social post. On May 17, 2025, Trump targeted the retail giant, accusing it of boosting prices and using tariffs as an excuse to avoid responsibility. In his post, he wrote, "Stop blaming tariffs. Eat the tariffs so customers don't have to," and warned Walmart that both he and the public would be keeping close watch. As the New York Times noted, this public call-out spread quickly and triggered national debate over who bears the burden of trade policies, companies or consumers. Trump wasn't just making a policy argument, he was sending a political message. Posting on Truth Social, a platform where he enjoys a loyal base of supporters, Trump framed Walmart as a company shifting costs onto working people instead of standing up to economic pressures. That messaging matches his America First stance, one where U.S. companies are expected to put American interests ahead of international trade deals. But that oversimplifies the issue. Tariffs aren't an optional cost for Walmart. They're taxes that U.S. companies must pay on imported products, and they can't just wish them away. Walmart made that point clear on May 18, 2025, when it responded with its own statement. CEO Doug McMillon said that Walmart had held off on raising prices as long as it could, but could no longer absorb the tariffs. As CNN reported, the company had managed to keep prices stable for months, but tariffs had simply grown too heavy to bear. From the end of May onward, customers would see price hikes on electronics, toys, and basics like bananas, avocados, and coffee. Walmart's tone was measured, positioning the price increases as a matter of financial reality rather than political sparring. And this dispute points to one of Walmart's most fundamental challenges. According to Reuters, nearly 60% of Walmart's merchandise is sourced from overseas, mostly from China. This business model has long been the key to offering customers the lowest prices. However, those deep international ties also make Walmart extremely vulnerable to trade tensions. Even after a deal lowered tariffs from 145% to 30%, that tax is still significant enough to impact Walmart's margins, especially when most of its profits come from slim 4 to 5% profit rates. The bottom line? Import tariffs ripple through the entire supply chain and eventually show up as higher prices at checkout. Trump's demand that Walmart absorb those costs ignores this reality. If Walmart followed his advice, it would take serious losses that could undermine its ability to serve millions of customers and employees across America. That's why Walmart decided to pass on part of the burden to its customers, revealing the limits of its low-price business model as global trade barriers rise. And this fight is about much more than one company or one president. It reflects a larger struggle within the U.S. economy. Trump's push for tariffs is all about protecting American jobs and businesses, a goal central to his America First worldview. Yet the impact is reaching consumers directly. Walmart isn't alone in this difficult position. Retailers like Target and Best Buy have also hinted at price increases due to the tariffs. Stock markets have already sensed the tension, with shares of big-name chains sliding as investors weigh the risks. For American families, the effect is immediate. Rising prices at checkout mean stretched budgets and tougher decisions. The Trump-Walmart tension raises a serious question about America's economic path. Can companies built on global trade adjust to a world with increasing tariffs and political pressure? Walmart's entire business has thrived on sourcing inexpensive products worldwide, a plan now clashing with calls for greater self-reliance. As trade policies shift, companies face a tough balance: either stay competitive or give in to political expectations. This struggle is reshaping retail operations and how people shop, with no simple solutions. At its core, this fight shows a disconnect between political talk and economic reality. Trump's challenge to Walmart taps into anger over rising prices, but overlooks the deeper structural forces at work. Tariffs, by design, push up import prices, and companies like Walmart must either absorb the cost or pass it to customers. Its decision to raise prices reveals a hard truth. In a globalized economy, trade decisions ripple down to every household. As this debate continues, the stakes are high, not just for Walmart, but for millions of Americans who depend on its stores. The real burden falls on regular people. With prices climbing, families have to stretch their money further, turning what began as a policy dispute into a daily struggle. The Trump-Walmart standoff is a lens into a bigger issue, reconciling bold trade ambitions with the realities of an interconnected world. The solutions chosen will shape the economy and people's lives for years as the U.S. navigates this path. On May 21, 2025, Walmart announced plans to cut 1,500 jobs, sending waves through its huge workforce. The layoffs mostly hit two key areas: technology and supply chain management. At first glance, this might look like a reaction to mounting financial stress, like higher import expenses, but the reality points to a more forward-looking plan. Walmart is not merely slashing costs, it's launching a strategic restructuring to reposition itself for an unpredictable global landscape. This workforce cut is part of Walmart's effort to streamline its operations. The company has called this move a way to reduce inefficiency and sharpen its focus. According to Reuters, Walmart is merging overlapping roles and shifting people to key hubs like Bentonville and Seattle. These moves signal a deliberate effort to build a more responsive and agile company. Instead of sticking to outdated setups, Walmart is creating a structure that can absorb economic shocks and make the most of new opportunities. Choosing to reduce positions in tech and supply chain is especially telling. These teams are not secondary. They're at the core of Walmart's strategy to manage inventory, study shopper habits, and embrace advanced tools like automation. By trimming roles in these areas, Walmart isn't pulling back from innovation. Rather, it's fine-tuning its digital foundation. The company hopes to cut extra layers so decisions can move faster and resources can be put to better use. This adjustment favors a leaner setup that supports long-term growth without extra bureaucracy. Walmart's changes also reflect a wider shift across the retail world. Traditional retail models built on strict hierarchies and large physical networks are being replaced by more nimble approaches. Major chains like Walmart are under constant pressure to respond to sudden shocks, from trade disruptions to shifting buyer habits. By centralizing critical functions and leaning on data-driven processes, Walmart is embracing a model that prizes speed and flexibility. This strategy allows the company to quickly scale up when demand grows or scale down if times get tough. Beyond the layoffs, Walmart has shared its plan to balance these job cuts by creating new positions. The company isn't turning its back on its workforce. Instead, it's moving employees into areas that fit its future goals, like automation, technology, supply chain data, and online order fulfillment. These investments show that Walmart is serious about keeping up in a retail world that's becoming more and more driven by e-commerce and tech innovation. This dual approach, trimming outdated roles while building up new ones in growth areas, shows that this restructuring is about moving forward, not just saving money. The larger economic picture adds important background to Walmart's decisions. Rising import tariffs have put a financial squeeze on Walmart, especially since its business depends on affordable goods from overseas to keep prices low. Even so, these changes go beyond short-term savings. They're part of a larger plan to face several big challenges at once: inflation, supply chain delays, and the rapid pace of digital change. Walmart's leaders know that surviving in this climate will take more than small, short-term fixes. They're preparing for the long haul by reorganizing their entire operation so they stay competitive in a shifting market. Still, the impact on people can't be ignored. Cutting 1,500 jobs will affect workers and their families. especially in areas where Walmart plays a big role in the local economy. Even though new roles will come, not every affected employee will fit those new skill needs right away. That raises a big question for major companies like Walmart. How do you balance business goals with caring for workers during major changes? Walmart's decisions give a glimpse into where global retail is headed. Being one of the world's biggest employers, Walmart's actions matter far beyond its own stores. Its push into automation and e-commerce hints at a future where technology drives most of the work that gets products into customers' hands. This will change job markets too, creating a greater demand for tech-savvy employees while shrinking traditional retail positions. Communities and policymakers will need to focus on training and education so people can adapt to this new reality. Walmart's moves on May 21st mark a turning point. The company isn't just reacting to outside pressures, it's rethinking its entire structure to grow in a fast-changing world. Walmart is simplifying its processes and putting innovation first, so it stays relevant for years to come. This overhaul reminds us of a key truth in business today. Even the most powerful companies must keep evolving to stay successful in an uncertain future. Finally, higher tariffs make things even harder for American retailers like Walmart. Every extra cost is a serious problem for companies that survive on slim profit margins. Walmart, famous for its low prices, usually makes only about 4 to 5% profit. That small cushion disappears fast when import taxes rise. The company can either absorb those extra expenses, putting financial pressure on itself, or pass the cost to customers. A report by Morgan Stanley says keeping that low price promise is becoming almost impossible without making some serious changes, whether that's higher prices or cuts in other areas like staffing or store upkeep. The issue begins long before products hit the shelves. Tariffs are paid by U.S. importers, not by overseas suppliers. When a shipment of clothing or electronics reaches a U.S. port, companies like Walmart must pay those fees up front. These extra charges add up quickly. That's why most companies in this economy, where inflation is already lifting prices, choose to pass these higher costs on to their customers. As a result, the price tags on everyday products reflect more than just what those items are worth. They also show the burden of trade policies. This reality goes against the common idea that tariffs only impact foreign producers. For American families, the effect is real and immediate. Grocery bills, clothing prices, and the cost of household necessities have risen, putting more pressure on household budgets. According to research from Yale's Budget Lab, tariffs add about $2,800 to the average family's yearly expenses. That number isn't just some abstract statistic. It forces families to make tough choices between essentials and extras. Some parents delay buying new shoes for their kids, while others put off upgrading their appliances. These small choices reflect a deeper change in how people manage their money under growing economic strain. And it's not just Walmart feeling the heat. Other big-name retailers, like Target, Amazon, and Best Buy, have also raised alarms about the disruption tariffs are causing. Walmart even took the rare step of refusing to give profit forecasts for the next quarter, citing unpredictable tariff expenses. CNN covered the story, which unsettled investors and triggered a drop in retail stocks. This decline mirrors broader anxieties about companies that depend on imports to stay afloat. Retailers are facing mounting costs and unpredictable trade policies that complicate their planning. Financial markets are feeling the impact too. Stock analysts have lowered expectations for retail earnings, predicting slower growth as the year goes on. Companies that once relied on stable international supply chains are now rethinking how they fill their shelves. Some are reducing orders to steer clear of items hit by tariffs, while others are looking for suppliers closer to home. These changes aim to reduce losses and keep the flow of products moving. The result is an entire retail sector on edge, bracing for more uncertainty as trade policies shift. Shoppers are adjusting as well, and their choices could shape shopping habits for years to come. With prices climbing, more people are reaching for store brands instead of national brands. Big-ticket purchases like furniture or electronics are being put on hold as families focus on meeting everyday needs. According to Morgan Stanley, this cautious mindset isn't just a short-term reaction. It reflects deeper financial worry that may last even if prices stop rising. Consumers are becoming more selective, hunting for deals and skipping items they don't absolutely need. This shift in demand is pushing retailers to adapt quickly or risk losing customers. Stores are trying to fight back, but they don't have many options. Many have introduced sales and rewards programs to encourage people to keep shopping. These promotions may give a brief sales boost, but they don't tackle the underlying issue of higher costs. Another common strategy is adjusting inventory. Some stores have cut back on expensive imports to trim expenses, though that can mean less variety for shoppers. And for a retailer like Walmart, famous for its one-stop shop experience, striking the right balance is key to staying competitive. The ripple effects go well beyond store shelves into the larger economy. Tariffs were meant to protect American businesses, yet they mostly hit consumers. Rising prices don't just worry companies, they create stress for everyday families. Parents face hard decisions in the grocery aisle and trim their holiday gift lists. This spending squeeze may slow other parts of the economy, like restaurants and travel, as families keep a closer watch on their wallets. The American shopper, a vital part of the world economy, is pulling back, and that signals trouble ahead if these trends persist. Businesses, too, are playing it safe. Instead of launching new stores or investing in tech upgrades, many are focused on staying afloat. Retailers are delaying projects like improving their websites or making stores more energy efficient, nervous about unpredictable expenses that could pop up at any time. This hesitation could weaken their chance to compete in a rapidly shifting market. Companies that once thrived on bold ideas are now playing it safe, a choice that might cost them in the long run. The retail sector, a major source of jobs and growth, faces a future clouded by caution. The tariff issue shows a gap between policy goals and real-world results. Leaders hope to boost local manufacturing, but the immediate outcome was higher costs for everyone. This struggle reveals the complexity of trade decisions, where good intentions run up against harsh realities. As lawmakers debate what comes next, the impact is already showing up in every shopping cart and quarterly report. Retailers and families alike are adjusting to an environment shaped by forces outside their control. In the end, tariffs are more than just economic policies. They are everyday challenges for millions. The burden is real. From the rising cost of a child's toy to a week's worth of groceries, companies like Walmart must balance their bottom line with their customers' needs. And as the nation looks on, the economic weight of tariffs becomes harder to overlook. How long can this pressure last before it drives deeper economic change? The clash between President Donald Trump and Walmart has uncovered serious cracks in America's economic foundation. Experts warn of a possible recession triggered by declining consumer spending. According to Yale's Budget Lab, the extra burden of tariffs could tip the economy into a downturn if people continue to cut back. Retailers like Walmart face a tough choice. They can't shield shoppers from rising prices without risking their own stability. Meanwhile, the government has yet to provide clear long-term solutions. That lack of concrete guidance leaves both companies and consumers feeling uncertain about the road ahead. More than numbers, this dispute holds a deeper message. It isn't just a political debate or a corporate issue. It's part of a larger trade crisis that directly affects everyday Americans. Shoppers face higher prices on everything from groceries to electronics, forcing them to rethink their budgets. This shrinking purchasing power is not a short-term setback. It's a long-lasting shift that could change how families live and plan their futures. This standoff reflects the real-world fallout of aggressive trade policies, where protecting local industries clashes with the painful reality of strained wallets. As the country watches this unfold, the Trump-Walmart showdown raises serious questions. Can lawmakers balance trade ambitions with the needs of consumers? Will companies find a way to adapt without passing the costs on to shoppers? The answers remain unclear, but the stakes couldn't be higher. For now, American families carry the burden of this crisis, paying more at checkout and tightening their spending. This moment serves as a wake-up call, reminding leaders to face the ripple effects of their decisions. The path forward requires careful thought, because today's policies will shape the economy for years to come.